Donald Trump's campaign attacking the Puerto Rican community over the weekend at Madison Square Garden has gone from bad to worse for Donald Trump. Puerto Rico's biggest newspaper, El Nuevo Dia, has now officially endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris. On Tuesday, the paper writes, quote, "The hearts of all of us who love this beautiful garden of America and of the world clench with rage and pain. Puerto Ricans are a noble and peaceful people who deeply love their island," the paper's editor wrote. Donald Trump spoke in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where he was greeted by protests from those in the Puerto Rican community who live there. Also, Latino radio host in Pennsylvania by the name of Victor Martinez went on CNN, and he explained that it's over for Donald Trump in the Puerto Rican community. He goes, he doesn't care who's going to claim that the Puerto Ricans are supporting Donald Trump. He said Donald Trump could have denounced it that night or the next day. Donald Trump refused to do that. He is over. Here, play this clip.
I'm wondering, Victor, his campaign is going to feature Zoraida Buxo, the shadow senator from Puerto Rico. We've heard reports that other prominent Puerto Ricans are going to be joining him. What do you think about that? What do you know about who else might be going there?
I haven't heard of anyone else being there, but I'll tell you this. None of those people matter. It's all about number one. Until Donald Trump doesn't himself acknowledge the fact that this was wrong, that this is unacceptable, that we will not tolerate this, I don't think none of that matter. He can bring anybody he wants from Puerto Rico, and I've heard it from my audience. It's too late now. He needed to say something right away that night or the day before or the day after, and he hasn't done it. By now, he can bring anybody he wants from Puerto Rico, and it's not going to make a difference.
And by the way, here is the Allentown, Pennsylvania mayor on Fox saying that, you know, they're a majority Latino city in Allentown, and people heard what Donald Trump's campaign called the Puerto Rican community. Play this clip.
So I've been out knocking doors in Allentown for the past few months talking about the Harris campaign. Initially, like a lot of excitement about Vice President Harris. That's been steady. We've had thousands of volunteers here in Allentown out knocking on doors talking about the Vice President's commitment to working for the people. Not a ton of response related to former President Trump. Now we have this rally in downtown Allentown, but it's coming on the heels of former President Trump saying some pretty violent racist things about the island of Puerto Rico, which is very close to the heart of many of our residents. Allentown is a majority Latino city, and the majority of our Latino population has its roots in Puerto Rico. So people heard the campaign saying some terrible things about a place that is near and dear to our hearts, and I think that might push people who might have been sitting on the couch out to vote and vote for Vice President Harris.
We're getting a lot more data, folks, about the event. We broke the story earlier yesterday that before the Madison Square Garden rally, Trump announced that the speaker who was up there calling Puerto Rico trash would, quote, showcase the MAGA movement. Trump announced that speaker on his official campaign page. You can see it right there. And Trump said that this would be an individual showcasing the entire MAGA movement. See the name right there. Now, what was Donald Trump saying about the event? Did Donald Trump apologize? Did Donald Trump say that that was not representative of his campaign? Nope. Quite the opposite. Earlier yesterday, Donald Trump said that he thought the Madison Square Garden was one of the best events ever. He said it was one of the greatest events. Here's what he said yesterday. Play this clip.
Today, Madison Square Garden on Sunday night. And we had a ball. That was the greatest evening anyone's seen politically. I mean, Madison Square Garden is really big. It's big, and it's beautiful. And it's MSG and the Dolan family, Jim Dolan, they were so nice.
Yeah, he was speaking from the resort where he lives in, and where he goes, I don't think anybody's ever seen anything like what happened the other night. It was like a love fest. You just heard him say. And then when he was in Allentown, he repeated that, and he said how great the event was, People have never seen something so special. Here, play the clip right now.
Today, Madison Square Garden on Sunday night. And we had them all. That was the greatest evening anyone's seen politically. I mean, Madison Square Garden is really big. It's big, and it's beautiful, and it's MSG and the Dolan family, Jim Dolan, they were so nice.
Now, one of the things that Donald Trump also said at that speech, because he's incapable of apologizing, incapable of showing sympathy, this is the line that he's going with instead of, I'm sorry, it's not representative of the campaign, because it is actually representative of the campaign. So he said yesterday morning that he's done more for Puerto Rico than anybody. No president has done more for Puerto Rico than I have. Here's what he says.
Puerto Rico, and I want you to know that Puerto Rico stands behind you, and Puerto Rico loves you.
Well, we love it. I know it very well, and we helped you through a lot of bad storms, I'll tell you. We had some really bad ones. You remember you were there when I brought the hospital ship against everyone's advice, and we got it in there and took care of a lot of people. But I think no president's done more for Puerto Rico than I have. So thank you. That's really nice of you to say. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mary.
All right, let's talk about NAD+. It's in every living cell in your body, and it helps keep you young by repairing damage, detoxifying, and giving you energy. But between age 20 and 50, your NAD+ levels are cut in half. No wonder we start feeling older, more tired, and less vibrant. But here's the good news. Qualia NAD+ makes it easy to boost your NAD+ levels by 74%. It's a simple supplement that's vegan, gluten-free, non-GMO, and packed with ingredients to help you feel at your peak longer into life. Qualia NAD+ contains the most powerful NAD+ precursors like niacin, niacinamide, and Niagen. These ingredients are clinically tested to boost your NAD+ levels, and Qualia NAD+ has many other holistic ingredients that support all major aspects of NAD+ production in your body. Plus, it's doctor formulated, so you know it's the real deal. I've been using Qualia NAD+ since they sent it to me, and the difference is huge. I actually feel energized, awake, and ready to take on the day. I had no idea how much my low NAD+ was dragging me down. To boost your NAD+ levels by up to 74%, go to qualialife.com/Jordy for up to 50% off and use code Jordy at checkout. That's JORDY at checkout for an additional 15% off. That's qualialife.com/Jordy, JORDI, for 15% off your purchase. Thanks to Qualia for sponsoring today's episode.
I mean, and again, which is just such an obvious lie. Donald Trump intentionally withheld hurricane aid to Puerto Rico. He talked about selling Puerto Rico, selling it. He went there and chucked paper towels at people. And then at Allentown during Donald Trump's event as well, he repeated that same line over and over again. And he said, no one's done anything as good for Puerto Rico as him. Nobody close, he says. Here, let me show you this. Let's play it.
It's interesting because I've done more for Puerto Rico than any president by far. Nobody close. I provided historic funding, and the hospital ship, when they were hit with a couple of really bad ones right in the road.
Should be noted, too, that Donald Trump also himself repeats the garbage can line. That's like his favorite line. He says, America is a garbage can for the world. Here, Donald Trump is saying that. Let's play it.
Brought to the United States of America and dumped like we're a garbage can. Like we're a garbage can.
And here he is at the event he held in Allentown, Pennsylvania, saying the same thing. We're a giant garbage can. Again, referring to America like a giant garbage can. Play this clip.
It's like, I said this, the press gave me a hard time on this one. They said it was very no, I don't think it's disrespectful. It's like we're a giant garbage can. That's what they...
Here's what Nikki Haley had to say on Fox. She said, it's probably not a good idea to call Puerto Rico an island of garbage at the end of the campaign. Here, play this clip.
Do you think that moves the needle?
I think it's harmful. I mean, look, there's no reason to have a comedian at an election campaign event that had so much energy and so many good issues. Why have a comedian that separates people? This isn't about people being sensitive. I mean, Puerto Ricans, that's personal for them. They take that personally. So
You know, when you see a correlation, too, of the excitement surrounding Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign, here's over 75,000 Americans turning out for Vice President Kamala Harris. Just look at the energy in her D.C. speech. Let's play it.
Thank you, everyone. So listen.
You see the energy right there. I want to show you this as well. A lot of very prominent Puerto Ricans are speaking out. A lot of prominent Latinos are speaking out, right? You had Bad Bunny, Jennifer Lopez, Ricky Martin, Becky G. Here is John Leguizamo. Here's what he has to say right here. Here, play the clip.
Look, if you're Latino or Puerto Rican, and you heard that disgusting, despicable abomination, una abominación, of what that guy said at that hate rally for Trump, and don't give me that BS, you didn't know what he was saying. How did you put in the teleprompter then? How'd you hire him, huh? On what credentials? This is BS. Look, the only way to get back at Trump for this, because we know this is the real him. Remember when he threw the paper towels at those pobrecitos allá in Puerto Rico after Maria, the Hurricane Maria? That was horrific. I was so disgusted by his attitude. And we all New Yorkers know how he thinks about Latinos. We know what he thinks, especially Puerto Ricans. He's always had a deep hatred. We know that for a fact. Us New Yorkers, Latinos, okay? New Yorkinos. So you know how you get back at him? By voting against him. Vote for Kamala. Hurt him where it really hurts, at the ballot. Vote against Trump.
Here's a Puerto Rican veteran, Emmanuel Cruz, from Puerto Rico, who served our country courageously. Here's what he has to say. Play this clip.
Hola, mi nombre es Emanuel Aviles Cruz, de Juana Díaz, Puerto Rico. Serví 9 años activo, 5 años en el Army y 4 años en los Marines, con 3 combat tours, 2 en Irak y 1 en Afganistán. Y les quiero decir que mi gente no es basura, mi isla no es basura. Y este noviembre 5, americanos como yo, veteranos como yo y boricuas como nosotros votaremos por Harris y Walz. A mi gente se les respeta. No somos basura. Puertorriqueños.
So there you have it, folks. I want to get your view, what you think below. And I'd love to hear from you what you've done to try to help convince people to vote early. Have you convinced any independents or Republicans or just people who are not going to vote to vote? Tell me in the comments also if this news has influenced your decision, who you're voting for. I'd love to hear from you if you were undecided or if you're Puerto Rican and you were going to vote one way, but now you're supporting Vice President Kamala Harris. And if you know people in the Puerto Rican community, share that with me in the comments. I always love to learn from you and hear your stories too. So help educate me as well. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe and let's get to 4 million subscribers. We appreciate all of your support.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.